Welcome to Marketing Monday. Today we are talking content marketing with Dave from Dreamscape. Imagine this. Hey, Dave. So
Hello.
I'm a senior living marketer. I've done a little bit of content marketing, videos, articles, blogs. I'm not really sure that it's working as well as it could be. I'd really rather have a better strategy going into 2023. Well, I think I'm in luck because that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, we'll run our intro. Hi.
Hi. Sorry, seeing myself as a cartoon makes me giggle every time. Anyway.
It's fun, huh? Yeah. And Dave, you're in an RV traveling all across the country. Where are you today?
I am in Tucson, Arizona, and I would be outside in the beautiful southwestern scenery, except for it is snowing today in Arizona, so that's fun.
Oh, nice. I mean, nice for those of us who don't have to shovel it. Yay.
Yeah, no, didn't know that was a thing. Snow in Arizona does happen. Seeing it firsthand.
Hey, Arizona, hope you're enjoying the snow. Today we're going to talk about content marketing. And boy, we have a lot to get into because it's such a huge topic and there's so many ways you can look at it. Today is the fourth entry in our Digital University series. So we're going to kind of do an overview of content marketing and things to expect and things to think through as you plan your 2023 strategy. And the very first thing, Dave, that we want to think through is why the heck we're doing this, and
Right.
Is it really going to work? So why do we do content marketing, Dave?
Well, I think it's important that we always tie, we get so wrapped up in what we're doing and producing it and getting out there, we stop and ask why. What are our goals? And as marketers, specifically, what are our business goals? And they're pretty simple. I have three. Increase move-ins while reducing the cost per move-in, build trust and relationship with prospective residents, and increase brand awareness. That is largely what I do at Dreamscape. That is pretty universal. So how does content marketing address that? Well, writing content, writing original thought leadership. It is scalable. It's a scalable solution. It works long term. It's not going anywhere. Everyone wants to be educated, and it's cheaper comparatively. Writing is cheaper, but not only that. What I'm really saying is your thoughts live out there forever. For every person it nurtures and convinces, it's out there to do it again and again and again. And you can scale it up and down as needed. You can adjust as your staffing allows, as you have time for. But it's that cost. It helps with that cost per move-in. When you're really putting good information out there that's helping seniors make decisions, it stays out there and keeps working for you. And it helps nurture them. We are talking about some of our content should be at that initial research stage that's happening on Google, and some of it should be nurturing. So we have kind of two areas we can play in, and we'll talk about that more later. But really, it does really pretty well meet all of your business objectives for your content marketing, because everybody's your boss is like, oh, you're writing words. What's that doing for me? You're out there educating, and people trust that, and it helps them choose you and convert. So I think it checks the boxes.
You have a very animated boss. I could work with that boss. I'll tell you what we're doing.
You met Dan. But we all marketing guys, we all have that animated boss who wants the results. So anyway.
Isn't that the truth, Steve Moran?
That's why Diet Coke helps. It is the marketing choice of champions. Anyway, sorry.
Well, I didn't know we picked up a new sponsor. That's awesome. Wow, that's good.
Diet Coke. Anyway.
It's good to remember though that it does last so long, because when you're doing it well, content marketing takes a lot of time on the front end to do, and sometimes it can be hard to find that time to do it and to do it right. But once you've done it, it lasts, like you said. So
For sure.
when we think about whether it's working out there, whether it's really going to pull in leads, the types that are working, what do you think? What advice would you give to that, or what information do you have to share on that?
Well, I like to back everything up, because we're all marketers. You shouldn't believe us. No, I like to go
True.
out for these shows and pull out some industry-wide, marketing stats. And so what I found on that this time was Ahrefs, which is a very trusted, that's the platform for keyword research and a lot of digital research. And they did a survey of their marketers, both in B2B and B2C. But some things to pull out. They agree it is cost efficient. Content marketing generates, per this, 3 times the leads and costs 62% less. So, that's very significant. Is it effective? Is it effective? No, that's not a word. Is it effective? What that was supposed to be was, is it effective? Well, almost 7 out of 10 of us content marketers agree that it is. And it's not just about generating demand. They're not just saying demand. They're saying leads in particular. So most of us agree, 2/3, 7 out of 10 agree that it is effective for generating leads specifically. And I think that's important. Formats. Everybody, we all start with blogging. That's probably the lowest barrier to entry. But right now, the preference is for short form video, and we'll talk about that more later. But that is where we're going, and you kind of need to plan for that. And then everybody's favorite question: pace. How often do I do this? Well, this is an industry average, but we're going to say it takes about 4 pieces of content to convert and engage with a end user. And of the people who are doing content marketing, half of them do it daily. And I think that's going to be skewed by industry. I think half is doing it daily is pretty aggressive. Again, this isn't outrunning the bear thing. You don't need to outrun the world. You just need to outrun your local competitors. So your pace really should be dictated by what your competitors are doing, not by industry averages. But anyway, I think those are the key takeaways that, agnostic of what I think and what Dreamscape thinks and what our industry thinks, this is what's going on out there in the world. So it lines up pretty well.
Yeah. That's okay. So we've got video is really popular, and we've got some whys, and so we've built up to kind of what we're doing, but then there's the big question, which is, what the heck am I supposed to write or talk about in my content? You got any advice on that?
It is terrifying, right? We all sit down at our lappity tappity box. You're welcome, Jillian. And what are we going to create? What are we going to write about? And we forget, right, that we are experts in our field, and what we know in our heads seems mundane, but these are things people really do and want to know. So strategically, always be asking yourself, how does this feed the beast? The number one search engine in the world, 92%, is Google. So the way you can write the best things in the world, but if you haven't pleased Google first, it's not going to get in front of your new residents. It's just not. So you need to please the beast first. You need to recognize that Google is the number one research search engine in the world. YouTube is the number one video, short form video viewing in the world. Sorry, they're not there on TikTok yet. They will be. We just gave a great talk about that in another vertical. But anyway, and Facebook still, it is the boomer social media of choice. So that is where you need to focus. So you need to be strategic. What you need to be creating is great thought leadership, the best education you can, but you also need to be strategic about, surely put it everywhere, but these 3 sources are going to pull the most levers for you, basically. So I think once you got past that, you need to understand what searchers are doing, because they're all not just searching. They have what's called user intent. When someone goes to Google, they have different reasons. There are different stages in the funnel of how they're using Google, and those go into 4 categories. So you have informational, navigational, transactional, and commercial investigation. So for me, senior living falls into 2 of those primarily, which would be informational and commercial investigation. So
can you hang on, Dave? Can you say those one more time? So it's informational and then
informational. So that's like literally, I'm just like, I really want the most basic. I'm just starting my research. Navigational. Yeah, navigational, we're not really going to touch on those, but that's when they're going right to you directly. Transactional is they're ready to buy. So that applies, but I don't think you do a lot of nurturing and converting. If they're ready to buy, they're ready to buy. They're going right back to your branded website to schedule, to schedule a tour. So informational is what it is. I'm collecting basic information. So this page you have up here, and the reason I'm sharing this is because your research, your competitive analysis can start with Google as the tool for that. So I put in what I would consider to be an informational search. I'm in Arizona. I'm starting, whether my parents self, I'm starting this process of seeing living in Arizona could not get more broad. And because we're talking about,
are you cut? I think you're cutting out, Jada. I'm looking at you. Yeah. Okay, I want to make sure it's not just me. I think Dave is paused. Are you there, Dave?
I'm here. Can you hear me yet?
Okay, you sound better now. Go for it.
Yay, snowy internet.
Yeah.
Thanks, nature. All right. So anyway, so I did a very broad search, senior living Arizona. This would be an example of an informational search. I'm just starting. And because we're talking about content marketing today, we're going to go past the paid ads, the maps. We've talked about that stuff in other talks, but we're talking about content. So we're talking about the top organic results. So as soon as I get there, as soon as I scroll down, people also ask. So this isn't for fun. Google's building this from data. These are the top other things. So when you have your basic thoughts around senior living Arizona, well, these are some more long tail keywords that people are actually searching. And what if there's your first 4 topics right there. And now I forget, after55.com, I'm going to guess they're an aggregator of some sort, but Google helps you there with 6 more suggestions. Those are the things. So if after55.com has that number 1 organic spot and you want to take it from them, here's 6 suggestions, topic suggestions right there. So Google itself is a great starting point. If you sat down with all the keywords you think you're going after and just start to do research, start to pull ideas from that, your blank screen is less blank. You've got ideas. You've got a topic list to write from now. So I think that is incredibly helpful.
Yeah, that's cool. And go back and for the viewers, if you when we're talking about this in regards to SEO, our previous episode was about SEO, and then that we covered a little bit about start with the quality and make sure you're putting out quality content.
Yes.
And then you target the SEO as well. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and that's like the reverse. That is, we're going to talk about the yin to the yang of that conversation. Is content is king, content comes first, and SEO is the complement to that. It's the yang to it. So once you've written the piece that is extremely educational and helpful, now it's time to let your SEO team go back and do what they do to make it also, to send the strongest signals to Google to make it extremely relevant.
There you go. Yeah. So it's not like it was in the old days, which is look at that long tail keyword and then stuff it in as many times as you can.
No, there's specific math and equations and styles to do that. And you don't want to ruin your content. You still want it to be, helpful first, educational first, and also SEO'd and ranking number 1. So, and you can do both. It is absolutely possible. So, but I just think that's a great Google itself. I just don't know if everybody realizes what a great source Google itself is for competitive analysis, basically.
When I know that you found some interesting stuff when you search for what type of senior care is right for me. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I thought that was fascinating, because we've talked about content types, but here's one that we didn't even mention, kind of.
Well, so this would, for me, if senior living Arizona is the very top of the funnel, it's very beginning of research. When we look at the intent type of commercial investigation, let me define this. This is intent, but they're not done yet. They need something more to make a decision. So this is what we consider the nurturing stage. So if we go back up to the top about our business objectives, nurturing, right, to bring them down into the lower funnel. So I just chose this. It didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. It's pretty obvious. If I were sitting down at the computer, what type of care is right for me? And it brings back, this organic result. So this is, again, seniorcare.com. I'm not sure if they're more of an advocacy or an aggregator, but they've hit them all. They have the number one organic result for this. They have on screen, they have a video, they have a quiz, and self-assessment quizzes. I use them all the time in our marketing. I want to know, is the client a cultural and size and everything fit for Dreamscape, right? Not everybody's a perfect fit for everybody. Not every senior is a perfect fit for every community. So self-assessment quizzes are valuable on both ends. It allows the senior to say, yeah, yay, nay. It also allows the community, is this someone we should pursue? Are they a good fit for our community? So that's a win-win piece of content marketing. But these guys have done that. Well, this is why they're number one. They have the quiz, they have a video, and under the video, they have a whole, the whole blog article with all the information in text as well. So they've hit a couple contents wins there, and that's why they're number one. So this is very, very possible. Right under them. Go ahead. I was just gonna say.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, it's not only them, but an individual community did it too, huh?
So communities, you can do this too. I searched what type of senior care is right for me. Their quiz, what type of senior living option is right for you. They answered my question almost literally. And there's not a whole lot of SEO on that page, but it is a quiz. And it got number 2. So now the Arbor, congratulations. They have probably a lot of people taking that quiz in the Arizona area. Or actually, sorry, that was on Arizona. But you know what I mean? That's a great win-win. It's educational. It tells the community about the resident, tells the resident about the community. And great job.
Yeah, and then this kind of summing up all of what we've talked about a little bit. We're going to go back to, we're talking about a variety of types of content, and apparently, if you use a bunch of them on the one page, that's really can be very powerful. But what kind of formats would you suggest focusing on at the beginning if you're if you're building up your strategy?
I mean, if the lowest barrier to entry is, think about this conceptually. All of our education, all of our thought leadership are just thoughts in our head when we're having them. Even writing is a content form. So, but it probably has the lowest barrier to entry. And if we're talking about Google as our number one platform to please, remember, we're feeding the beast, feeding into Google. All Google does is read the internet over and over again and evaluates the value of the content. Now, it's more complicated than that, but in essence, that's the end result. So even when you're making video, Google's going to read it. If you put that video on YouTube or YouTube Shorts, new competitor to TikTok, which I would argue is not as popular yet, but is feeding the beast. Anyway, even Google is just simply transcribing that video to text and then reading it back to itself and evaluating its content. So I would like to say your definitely start with the blogs as the lowest barrier to entry, as the written word. Translate that to video as you can, whether that's you reading it informally. Like, obviously things are getting so much more informal on the internet. So as long as you're being professional and helpful, I'd say get it to video if and when you can. That being said, Google and social media, TikTok, everybody, we just did a thing in behavioral health about TikTok seems to have captured the essence of Gen Y and the millennials as far as becoming a search engine, which is a little scary. TikTok is becoming the preferred search engine of that age group. No, look, Google's still not, this is not a shift yet, but it's just talking about how people consume is become short form video across TikTok, Instagram Reels, Facebook's adopted all the same video as Instagram, obviously owned by the same company. So short form video is where it's going. So when you can get there, if you can get somebody on your team who's comfortable with that, I would have the thoughts first, get them down on paper, publish them as blogs, have your SEO team get them out there for sure, but just start to think about that video plan for next year and who's comfortable on camera and can, and who maybe even can enjoy that and run with it. So it's still blog. And it's the additive process too. Sorry, the one thing you just made me think of was that example from the last thing is start with a blog and then add. So like that's content upgrading. It's just get the blog out there in words. A couple months from now, go back and add the video. A couple months from now, go back and add an infographic, and then go add, so add. That additive process, Google sees that too, because you're updating that same page with new and more information. Even you could expand the length of the text. Like, oh, there's this section I forgot I could have added, and now I add it. So for sure, written word and video, but then also that additive process. Make sure you're going back to those pages 3, 6, and 9 months later and adding an element. So Google sees those signals.
That was all right. So a couple of things. One, let's circle back to video for a second, because you mentioned something that I thought was really helpful and important, which is everything is so informal these days. A lot of things are very informal. So it's you can do something a little bit organic. I like your idea of just reading the darn, sometimes it's vlogging and reading a little bit of content or something. But yeah, just playing around with it. And how does Dreamscape, by the way, work with its clients on video types of stuff?
Oh, well, we definitely support that. I would say in one of two ways, really. If you have that additive video for the SEO purposes, we're just going to get that read almost like that lady in the example again, kind of that talking head perspective into the camera as speaking one-on-one. And that's going to be the more SEO content driven play. And then, we have our social media side too, where if you want to drive that more fun or less informal or more boots on the ground, because I think those are very different, right? So if we're doing video to advance our thought leadership, then it still needs to maybe stay a little formal and stay on the website, stay in the blog, stay on YouTube. But then, maybe let your creative teams run a little bit too on the Instagram, TikTok side of things and see what happens. But that's more, I don't know that seniors are there researching yet, like the Gen Ys are. So I don't know if I'd focus there yet, but one of my favorites that I've completely found organically that TikTok has thrown up in my personal feed is there's a lady, she's just doing dance parties at their community with her and the seniors. It's hilarious. And I that would add to the cultural side of things for me, not so much the SEO and content marketing side, but I think it's amazing. It's good work. But we'll keep focusing. In Dreamscape, we would say keep focus. We would default back to the feed the beast. So we want it to be good, genuine, helpful, educational, but we want it to be tactical as well. So an extension of your thought leadership in a different medium. Period.
Okay. Yeah. And so for Dreamscape, you'll kind of, it sounds like you'll consult with people on what to do and give them ideas and stuff on, what's going to be most effective. But then for the blogging and all, you actually have writers who will do that if people don't have time to do it themselves, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We have writers that write across all healthcare industries. They know the industries well, and then they research that. And really what you want to do, again, like jumping way back up to our business goals at the beginning of this conversation is, our strategy team would build back the plan. They want to hear from you what your goals are, because they're all slightly different. Where set benchmarks. Where do you want to be in 6 months? What is the goal of this plan? Like, we're not going to let you run off with that kind of, again, back to the beginning of this talk. It's kind of frenetic, right? It's like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. Well, instead of not knowing what to do, what to make, let's start with your goals, because those most likely, and let's move backwards. So that's generally how we would work. It's custom, and it's working backwards from your goals to add in the solutions.
Cool. All right. And then the last thing that you mentioned that I wanted to mention real quick was you can repurpose your content, but building on your previous content. So you don't necessarily have to start from scratch, right? If you happen to have some good stuff, but it's just really not elevated and you need to up it a little bit, just update it. And Google likes to see that something's been recently updated, correct?
It absolutely does. And we hit on that a little bit before, but just content optimization. A good place to start is always an audit. And that audit's a terrible word. Like, no one likes that word. But in this case, it simply means, where am I now? Did I not realize that I actually have a blog for Senior Living Arizona that ranks on page 6? Now, no one's going to see it there. But in the right hands, someone could, with that additive process, take that to page one. So yeah, it's not about, it's not always about starting from zero. It's about starting with that audit to go, where do I stand so I can make proper decisions.
Right. Good point. That can be your first 2023 goal, as and do an audit and see what you can build on. But
Absolutely.
let's get to our 5 takeaways real
Sure.
quick, and then we're going to talk about a special event that's coming up.
It is.
So we've got 5 takeaways. We've talked about a lot today,
Yeah.
and we have gone over just very, very many things to keep in mind. So let's go over some, like, if you only remember 5 things, here's what to remember.
Yes.
Number 1 is identify your goals, which we
Yes.
mentioned a few times. It could be lead generation, lead nurturing, brand awareness. It could be all of the above, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is, I like this point about, for topics, focus on information, which is kind of like education. And that way, Dave, I think if I'm hearing you right, you're going to capture people who are just starting their journey potentially of looking,
Sure.
and then they're going to get to know your community right from the very beginning, and then you can nurture them along the way. Is that how you see it?
Absolutely. The goal here is to simply, from the most entry level to the most advanced, to keep answering their questions. I mean, that's where, like, even semantic search is going. When you ask your desktop assistant something, that's where it's all going.
Yeah.
Hey Siri,
Yeah.
what's the best senior living in Arizona? Like, it is a one-to-one through research. Oh.
You got a video part?
Two different smart devices in this room just answered my question. Sorry.
It's like you planned it.
So now I know where the best senior living in Arizona is. All right. So that was a little scary. It's as best we can through research and understanding our customer, answer their questions and be the best at it.
Because the devices are always listening. Takeaway number 3, short form video. Start getting into that if you haven't already. Play around with it.
Sure.
Maybe start strategizing, because that's really popular right now.
And honestly, some people like the organic nature of it. What you and I do is organic. Like, we plan out a topic, but this is not like scripted in that sense. So people are okay with that now. They're okay. You don't have to be a perfect news anchor to get on camera and talk about your community. Right. For sure.
They respond. We found that they respond to authenticity, friendliness. Absolutely. Yeah, just like as if you were meeting somebody.
And that might help with the barrier to entry. If you're comfortable, just kind of, and maybe do a few iterations, right? To do it on video a few times until you just get it down. And that might even be easier than writing. You might find your words flow easier.
That's true. For some people, that's true. Not for me, but for some people, that's true. Yeah, it is. And you know what's interesting is, if you're nervous about getting on video, look at your favorite YouTubers and then look back at their very first videos. They're vastly different, inevitably, and so it takes a while. You just got to practice.
I can tell you, my number one fear is public speaking.
Is that right? Oh my gosh!
Doing this show is a personal challenge to myself for this year of getting over that.
Yay, Dave! Oh, awesome! Congratulations!
I hope I'm doing okay.
All right. Yeah. So if Dave can do it, you can do it. All right.
My wife says the same thing all the time.
Yeah. Probably not with quite the same tone. Right. Number 4 is think quality over quantity, and then factor in the SEO.
Yes.
So make sure you're putting out good stuff, not just slapping some stuff up, because that's not really going to probably work.
Yeah, the SEO team will take it from there, right?
Yeah. And then number 5 is build on what you have, which we've gone over. Next week, on next week's episode, we're going to talk more about digital marketing, and we're going to have a download for you that's going to be just really good. It's going to have a lot of information on a survey that Dreamscape did. So look forward to that. But right now, Dave, I'm dying to know, there's an event coming up, and it's coming up in January, which I can't believe is right around the corner.
Right.
Tell me more about what this interesting and unique event is.
So this is our third year. It's called, we've evolved the title a little bit. It's called Senior Living Ask Day. And ASK is an acronym, so it's Aging Services Knowledge. So this is your chance. This is 17 of the best, and I'm not going to name them all because I'm going to forget somebody and they'll get mad. We have 17 of the top companies in senior living who serve senior living. They're going to come give you a TED Talk, 20 minutes, one topic, single solution. So if you like this, if Marketing Monday is up your alley, just imagine Marketing Monday for kind of every service line in senior living. And that's what we put together. So we think this is valuable. We think this is, we know it's a niche event, but again, if this is for you, if you are an operational person, if you are a budgetary person, if you're in charge of, finding resources for your community, if you're in charge of finding education, marketing plans, operational plans, sales plans, this is for you. You are the niche of the niche who are responsible for delivering this information to your community. And so we want to give it to you. So again, 17 TED Talks, topics ranging sales, marketing, finance, real estate, across the board, everybody. We have a great keynote presenter. If you want to go see who it is, you can check out the website. This is our third year doing it. It's grown every year. It's exciting. We have a great time doing it. It's informal, but it's Ask Day because there's Q&A for this and it's live. So after you hear the little 15-minute TED Talk that someone does, you can ask them questions. You can have a real conversation and then take it offline from there. But, for the senior living community who's charged with solving problems, we think this is a great and direct way to help solve problems. We're answering questions that people are asking. So it's going to be a great event. It's January 25th and 26th, seniorlivingaskday.com. If you want to sign up, it's absolutely free. Things are live, things are recorded. So whichever way you want to interact with it's fine. But it's just been a great event that's grown over the last 3 years, and we're quite proud of it, actually.
And it's free, and it's all these solutions, and not a bunch of sales pitches, right?
No sales pitches. That's our only rule to our presenters is you have to have a single topic, a single solution, and you have to give actionable advice as they walk out the door. So it is absolutely solution oriented from the best minds. Franco, you're going to love this group. Check it out. It's the best minds in senior living. And these are the people who are in our industry working for you every day. So why not hear directly from those smartest people?
You're going to have an interesting co-presenter too, aren't you, Dave?
I did. This year, Steve and I are going to co-host it. So that should be interesting. Yeah. No, we'll
Steve Moran of Senior Living Foresight?
Senior Living Foresight. So yes, this is started with Dreamscape Marketing, but it's become so much bigger than that. We're involving all these great partners, and I couldn't think of a better co-host than Steve Moran for the energy. I don't know if I can match his energy, but I'll try.
Oh, don't try. Don't even try. You'll be tired by the end of the first 5 minutes.
That is a good point. But anybody in this industry who's in charge of solutions, who's in charge of upping their game in their communities across the board, this is for you. And it really is a great educational event. So I hope you sign up and come check it out with us in January.
Thanks, Dave. It's going to be great fun. Yeah. Thank you, Dave.
No problem.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much, Dave. So this is our last episode with Dreamscape. We have one more next Monday, but with Dreamscape. And Dave, we're going to see you in January because it's going to be 2023. So we wish everybody from Dreamscape and Senior Living Foresight, we wish you a beautiful holiday season and a very happy new year. And we will see you